Yeah, so the shots of the Magic Kingdom at the end, what were the rights and shooting situations for that?
Basically, I had to resort to my guerrilla filmmaking tactics of old and using an iPhone to do it, and it falls under fair use. And but what's important to point out, though, is that we're never disparaging towards Disney. And to tell you the truth, I was just in Toronto, and a journalist asked me if there are any villains in the film, and I think they were poking me, trying to get me to say Disney. But that's not the truth, I think if there are any villains in this film, it's the recession from '08 and the housing crisis that immediately followed it. We are in close contact with the agencies along Route 192, one in particular, the Community Hope Center. We work with them, they allowed us to use their space for casting calls, etc., and really helped us look over the script to make sure that we were authentic and that we were basically these details were correct. But what I found is that this community is they're all trying to basically eradicate homelessness. There's a true you have philanthropists working with agencies, working with the local government, and then you even have Disney who gave $500,000 last year to the Homeless Impact Fund. So they're working in that area. Everybody's working to try to eradicate this, and I never wanted to in any way point fingers or say, the corporate devil is responsible for this.
So we've got time for 2 more questions. Right in the back there, I see your hand up. Yeah. Yeah, so curious what your writing process is like once you've immersed yourself and done your research.
Yes, well, Chris and I usually take a pass and first come up with a treatment just to see if, we pass it around our team and see if it's actually working. Then we get to a scriptment place, which is like half a script, half a treatment. Usually comes in around 60 pages, and that's what helped us get land financing, secure financing for the film. And then by the time we are shooting, we have a full, for this project in particular, we have a full screenplay. We needed to. We learned that we shot last summer, and there was that ground rush that was happening. We saw June coming really quickly, and we started saying, we can't, with this budget, we're shooting 35 millimeter, we have children with limited hours, we're shooting in the hot summer sun, I'm shooting with a union crew, they don't really know my directing style. We decided we're going to go into it with a full shooting script. And yet, though, during production, they're still writing, though. They're still writing. We're seeing what's working and what's not, and we're deciding to perhaps add a B plot or a C plot, and take away a B plot or a C plot, just based on what we're shooting. Now, we didn't shoot in complete order, but in chronological order, but we were able to shoot enough in order to see what was working and what wasn't. And I guess one example is the fact that Bobby originally had a brother and not a son. But as the parental theme became stronger and stronger in the film, we decided, we hadn't cast his brother yet, and so we decided to go for a son. And it just happened to be that Caleb Landry Jones looks exactly like Willem Dafoe, and I always said those two should be cast as father and son. So it was as simple as giving a call to the agency and seeing if he was interested. And he came down. So that was written, that whole father-son thing was written just approximately a week and a half before we shot it. Yeah. We had it was, at first, I have to tell you, it was hairy for a lot of the local crew who didn't understand my shooting style, and the fact that we would sometimes deviate from the schedule or be distracted by something that interested us more than what we had written, and we'll go shoot that. And at first it was hairy. People thought I was rogue and crazy, and we almost got shut down, to tell you the truth. But eventually people started. The crew. I learned a very important lesson. I learned the hard way that I have to be a better communicator as a director. And then once I started communicating to the entire crew about the guys I know, I'm throwing you curveballs every day. just please, just understand this is part of the process, and let's have fun with it, and not be so stressed out by it. And then things started to leave, just the pressure was taken off, and then we worked, Chris and I and my team, then we felt, okay, now we can completely go off and start rewriting scenes here and there, and the crew and the cast rolled with it. Oh, and then there's post-production, in which you're basically writing all over again with editing, and I think we're going to be putting the screenplay out there. It's going to be available online, and you'll see what a difference there is, especially chronologically. I was shooting in a way that I could almost edit like a documentary, so we have scenes shuffled all over the place in post. It was like a rewriting process in post.
One last question. Yes. Yeah, so the question is, what are your motives as a filmmaker overall that drive this process?
It really is a project to project. Going into one of these, as Spencer knows, you go in, it takes 3 years of your life. You're dedicating 3 years of your life and other people's time and money to tell a story. And so as I've grown older, I've said, I better make sure I'm telling stories that are worth telling. And perhaps shining light on issues that I feel need some light shined on. And to tell you the truth, this is, and as I said earlier, I had no idea there was a hidden homeless population in this country. I didn't know that there are families who are technically homeless because they can't secure, a permanent housing, who are basically holding on to a roof over their head, barely holding on to a roof over their head. And I was moved by that, and I wanted to tell that story. And at the same time, I always wanted to tell a children's story. I was very influenced by the Little Rascals. My entire career has been influenced by the Little Rascals, and this gave me the opportunity to do a little bit of both. And that's just this project. I mean, every project there's a different motivation and a different inspiration, but it's about knowing that this is going to be a long journey, and it better be worth it for everybody, not just me, but for audience members, for everybody involved.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Thank you all for coming out tonight.
Thanks, guys. If you like the film, please spread the word. It opens October 15th.
Please spread the word.
Yeah.
October 15th, and please come out for more elevated screenings in the future.